Hi. Are you like still filming?
Uh-huh.
It's still going?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Hi people.
Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with all of the books that I read in 2019. That's right, I thought today what we would do is we would go through all of the books that I read last year and some of my stats from last year. I know that Goodreads always has that books in review, but I also have a few stats of my own, so I thought we would get into those first and then we can talk about every single book that I read, because there was a lot. So according to Goodreads and all of my calculations, I read 87 books last year. That's a lot. So I will make sure that I do fancy editing so you guys can see what I'm looking at. If I'm looking down, it's because I have my computer here. But yeah, so I read 87 books, and of those 87 books, I read 30,453 pages. So that is impressive, and I will take it. And then as far as my shortest book, it was Where Is My Teddy, which was 32 pages long, which was a picture book that I read for the Believe-a-thon. And then the longest book that I read was the fifth Harry Potter, The Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which was 870 pages. I knew it was going to be one of the Harry Potters, I just couldn't remember if it was the fourth or the fifth one. And then, to no surprise of anybody, the most popular book that I read was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This says that over 6 million people have read it. And I don't know if they mean, like, because I read the illustrated edition, I don't know if they mean the illustrated edition or just, like, the Sorcerer's Stone book. I'm gonna go with just the general, like, first book, because I feel like, while the illustrated one has been out for a few years, it hasn't been out for that long to have, like, 6 million people having read it. The least popular book that I read was Molly Warner School Reporter, which 11 people on Goodreads has read, and that doesn't surprise me because, if you guys will know, I have a family connection to that author, so it's not like a super publicized book. However, I think more than 11 people have read it in the world, for sure. Just 11 people on Goodreads have read it, so that seems a little low, but like, it doesn't surprise me that that is the lowest book. And then my average rating on Goodreads was a 4.1, which does not surprise me because I feel like I've read like a ton of like 4-star books, and like I rated so many things 4 stars last year. And then I also was able to do a few stats. If you guys have followed G from Book Roast, which I feel like everyone on YouTube knows who that is, because if you don't, you really, really should. But she has a very specific way of rating her books, and she has released a new spreadsheet where it like does formulas for you, so you can use her system and then also have like fun little graphs. So I did that for 2019 because I'm ridiculous, so I just spent like all of 2 hours putting in everything that I read in 2019 so I could have fun graphs for you guys, because I really, really wanted to do that. Here are the fun graphs that G basically made. This is a mock-up of what my genres looked like. I'm not even going to go into all the little bitty details, but 26% of the things that I read were fantasy, and 30% of the things that I read were contemporary, and those are my two biggest sections. I also had a lot of classic, a lot of graphic novels, some nonfiction in there, things like that, but the two biggest sections that I have were fantasy and contemporary. It actually surprises me that contemporary is just a little bit bigger than fantasy. Like, I feel like I read more fantasy than contemporary, but according to the math, I did not. And then the next couple things that I want to look at is my format. So 43% of the books that I read last year were in audiobook format, and 57% of the books were in physical format. The numbers are very, very like similar in the pie chart, but I feel like this is a little bit not right. I feel like audiobooks should be more. And then, to no surprise of anybody, the biggest age category that I read was YA, which was 40%. And then I did read 32% adult and 23% middle grade. And then I have like a 2% new adult. So YA was the big chunk of what I read, which does not surprise me. But the amount of middle grade is significantly bigger than I thought it would be, but like, I have read a lot more middle grade in the last year. So that's also like I'm just nerding out over charts over here. It's fine. And then if you look at this last chart that I've got, which is this beautiful books per month chart, you will notice that I started off the first of the year reading like a normal 6, 7, 8 books a month, and then once August hit, and they're significantly higher. And that is because the last couple months, fun fact about Kelsey, the last couple months I've been at home quite a lot, and I've just been reading. I've had a lot of time to read, so that's why the second half of the year has so many more books. So now it's time to go through all of the 87-ish books that I read this year. I'm gonna need some water for this. We started off the year with The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody, and I gave this 4 stars. The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang, and I gave this one 4 stars. What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera, and I gave this one 4 stars. Stephen Colbert's Midnight Confessions by Stephen Colbert, and I gave this one 3 stars. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and I gave this one, obviously, 5 out of 5 stars. Sadie by Courtney Summers, and I gave this one 4 stars. Mun Mun by Jessie Andrews, and I gave this one 3 stars. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I gave this one 5 stars. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I gave this one 4 stars. Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I gave this one 4 stars. Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. I know. Who am I? Damsel by Elena K. Arnold, and I gave this one 3 stars. Obsidio, the third and final in the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Mirage by Samaya Daoud, and I gave this one 4 stars. Eligible by Curtis Sittenfields, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. The sticker just hates me. I don't know how to get it off. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Radical Hope, Letters to Love by various authors, and I didn't give this any rating because I only read one short story in it. My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodi Meadows, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. The Lover's Dictionary by David Leviathan, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Here and Now and Then by Mike Chen, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Emma by Jane Austen, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Lucky Suit by Lauren Blakely, an Audible original, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. The Last Time We Say Goodbye by Cynthia Hand, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. All the Right Places by Jennifer Niven, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohen and David Leviathan, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. The Hidden Witch by Molly Ostertag, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Bull by David Elliott, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuestion, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Rivals, Frenemies Who Changed the World, an Audible original, which I also gave 5 stars. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I gave this one 5 stars. My Plain Jane, the second in the Janies series by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodi Meadows, and I gave this one 4 stars. The Prayers of Jane Austen, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Peter and the Starcatchers by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Birthday by Meredith Russo, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Bad Girls Throughout History, 100 Remarkable Women Who Changed the World by Anne Shin, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Two Dark Reigns by Kendar Blake, the third in the Three Dark Crowns series, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the Illustrated Edition by J.K. Rowling and illustrated by Jim Kay, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Circe by Madeline Miller, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Bloom, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the Illustrated Edition by J.K. Rowling and illustrated by Jim Kay, which I also gave 5 out of 5 stars. Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. The King's Curse by Philippa Gregory, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Diplomatic Immunity by Brody Ashton, which I gave 3 stars. The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James, which I gave 4 stars. Release by Patrick Ness, which I gave 3 stars. Voices, The Final Hours of Joan of Arc by David Elliott, which I gave 4 stars. Lady Susan by Jane Austen, which I gave 4 stars. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which I gave 4 stars. 2 A.M. Thoughts by Mackenzie Campbell, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. A Spark of Light by Jodi Picoult, which I gave 5 stars. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Illustrated Edition by J.K. Rowling, illustrated by Jim Kay, which I gave 5 stars. Georgia Peaches and Other Forbidden Fruit by J. Robin Brown, which I didn't give a rating because I DNF'd this book. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling, which I gave 5 stars. The Wicked King by Holly Black, the second in the Folk of the Air series, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. The House of Salt and Sorrow by Aaron A. Craig, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell, and I gave this one also 3 stars. Rivals 2, Frenemies Who Changed the World, an Audible original, and I gave this one 5 stars. 5 Dark Fates by Kendara Blake, the fourth and final in the 3 Dark Crowns series, and I gave this one 3 stars. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling, and I gave this one 5 stars. Love Virtually by Daniel Glotner, and I gave this one 3 stars. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which I gave 5 stars. Who is surprised? Not me. Where's My Teddy by Jez Alvaro, and I gave this one 4 stars. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling, and I gave this one 5 stars. The Bad Beginning, the first in the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, and I gave this one 4 stars. The School for Good and Evil by Soman Shinani, and I gave this one 5 stars. Molly Warner School Reporter by Dan Kilday, and I gave this one 4 stars. Lily and Duncan by Donna Gephardt, and I gave this one 4 stars. The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Robinson, and I gave this one 4 stars. The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin, and I gave this one 3 stars. Mirror Tidebreaker by Danielle Page and illustrated by Stephen Byrne, and I gave this one 3 stars. The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I gave this one 3 stars. The Reptile Room, the second in a series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, and I gave this one 4 stars. Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim by Robert C. O'Brien, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Camino Island by John Grisham, which I believe I gave 4 stars, but I think I'm going to bump it down to a 3. Found, the first in the Missing series by Margaret Patterson Haddix, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. A McGregor Christmas by Nora Roberts, and I gave this one 3 stars. Meet Cute by a bunch of different authors, and I didn't rate this because I only read one story in it, which was Somewhere That's Green by Meredith Russo, but this story specifically gets 5 stars from me. Amanda Wakes Up by Alison Camerata, and I gave this one 5 stars. And last, 365 Days of Wonder by R.J. Palacio, and I gave this one 3 stars. So that is it. Those are all of the 87 books that I read in 2019. That was a lot. I'm excited to see what next year brings. I'm really excited about the spreadsheet that G has made, so I will make sure to link her video where she has that so you guys can follow along, because she kind of explains how it works and how her system works. And I'm really intrigued by that because her system and my system are very similar. But yeah, let me know down below if you've read any of the books that I have read this past year and what your thoughts were on them. What was your favorite book of the year? But as always, if you liked this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. And I will see you guys in my next video.